everyone. My name is Tori Shute, and I'm here with Figure It Out Baseball, back with another episode of Real Dugout Confessions. For those of you new here, I'm a senior catcher from Woodbury, Minnesota, and I play softball for Augustana University, a Division II school located in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Today I'm here with Abby Lien, a fifth-year third baseman, also at Augustana University in Sioux Falls. Thank you for being here today, Abby.
Thank you for having me, Tori.
So to start us off, what has your softball journey looked like so far throughout your college career?
Yeah, so I actually started my softball career at the University of Iowa. I played there my freshman and sophomore year and actually decided to transfer during my sophomore year during COVID and transferred to Augustana University for my junior year and then played there my junior and senior year, and then I'll be going back there in the fall for my fifth year.
So when you were in the transfer portal, did you have any idea as to where you were interested in going next, or were you waiting to kind of see what your options were?
A little bit of both. So I was actually in a unique position where I've known Coach Melstead since I was like 7 or 8. My sister actually played for her. So going into the portal, I told myself like it would be nice to see if coach would reach out and just see if I could go there. But I gave myself a week just to see who would reach out to me, what schools were interested in me. But most of the schools that were interested in me were looking for a catcher, which is part of the reason why I was transferring. And so after about a week, I reached out to coach and was like, hey, coach, not sure if you've heard, but I'm in the transfer portal. Like, is there time that we can talk? And we called, and it was basically like, that's where I'm going. I'm kind of set on that.
Gotcha. So in the transfer portal, is it normal for people in the portal to reach out to coaches themselves, or is it kind of you wait to see who reaches out to you? Like, what's kind of the norm?
I think it kind of depends on what you want out of it. It's basically like starting over your recruiting process again. So if you really want to go to a school, I think it's okay if you reach out to them. If you want to wait and see who's interested in you, I think it's okay if you wait to see if they reach out to you. It kind of depends on what you want out of that process again.
So when you first mentioned when you entered the transfer portal, you said it was during COVID. Did COVID have any effects on your new recruiting process, or was it normal?
I think I had an advantage that I transferred during COVID just because I was put in the portal end of March. And so I was able to have a leg up on like finding housing super early and like applying for school and getting accepted and stuff like that versus waiting until the end of season, which usually ends around middle to late May. So I think it was kind of a blessing and a curse. Obviously, COVID wasn't really a great thing, but it helped me a lot with like school wise.
So you also had mentioned that you went through a position change. Can you talk a little bit about how you made that transition and how you thought the position change would overall benefit you as a player?
Yeah, so I actually went through a lot of position changes through my college career. I was recruited to Iowa to play shortstop, and the coaches that had recruited me had left before my freshman year, and the new coaches had come and watched me play that summer and saw that I caught, and they really liked me behind the plate, and they had said like, oh, we're probably going to use you a lot as a catcher, but we'll kind of just see how things pan out. And so my freshman year, I actually played center field, but I played a couple games at center, and then after that, I caught almost every single game after that. But towards the end of my freshman year, I started having pain in my finger every time that I caught a ball. And so I was struggling with that towards the end of the season, trying to figure out how to deal with that while still being able to play. So over the summer, I didn't really catch as much, tried to just heal it, came back in the fall of my sophomore year, had some MRIs done and like a angiogram to see like what the blood flow was to my finger. Was still kind of struggling with it. It actually had gotten worse. So the spring of my sophomore year, my coach was like, we're not going to use you as a catcher at all during preseason. Like you can hit if you don't have pain, but we're going to save you for conference, which it sucked because I didn't really get to play as much. There were 30 girls on my team, and if I wasn't producing as an at bat, I got pulled right away. So I struggled a lot with that, which partially was a reason why I was transferring. But our season got canceled, and I had a FaceTime call with my coach, and I said, "Hey, like, I'm really struggling with having this pain. Like, is there any way I can play any other position? Like, last year you saw me in center. Like, could you see me in the outfield? Like, I was recruited as a shortstop. Like, could you see me anywhere in the infield? Like, I can basically play anywhere outside of pitcher. And right now I can't catch. So, like, can you see me anywhere?" And she was like, "Well, I really like you behind the plate, but like, we could maybe like talk to someone and see if you can play there." And I was like, I don't really like that answer. And so a week later, I had my exit meeting and I was like, I'm deciding that I want to transfer. And they took it kind of well. I mean, they really liked me, but they understood that I like wanted this to happen. And so, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of the coaches that had reached out to me in the first week that I was in the portal, they were looking for a catcher. And I was like, I'm not looking to catch anymore. Like I actually like physically can't catch without wanting to cry every single time. And reaching out to coach, she was like, "Yeah, like I recruited you as a shortstop. Like I see you more as a second baseman, maybe as a third baseman. Like I guess we'll just see what happens." And had a couple calls with coach, and she was like, "You've played third base, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, coach, I actually prefer third base over second, but wherever you need me to play, wherever I can be in the lineup to help the team, like I'm great with that. If you want me to be on the bench, everyone's biggest cheerleader, like I will do that." And so I came in the fall and played second base. She moved me to third, and it kind of just stuck. So yeah, I kind of just went with the flow. Wherever coaches wanted me to play is where I played.
Seems like it all worked out in your favor.
Yeah.
That brings me to another question. When talking about like recruiting and what positions you play, a lot of the times players are dead set on like, I'm a shortstop, or I'm a pitcher only, or I only play outfield. What is your view on getting recruited that way? Like, would you recommend trying to play as many positions as you can, or working at one and seeing where that takes you?
I would recommend playing as many positions as you can. I actually was coaching my summer girls today, and we were working on the outfield, and we had everyone in the outfield. And I was like, you know what? You never know where you're going to play. Most colleges, when they recruit you, they say, like, if you can hit, you'll be in the lineup. So I would say focus on your hitting, and then go focus on making sure that you can field ground balls, making sure that you can field fly balls. Like, go make yourself a utility player. That way, when your bat is hot, they have to put you in the lineup and they will find somewhere for you to play.
I always like to ask that question because me personally, I'm a lefty, so I don't, I can't play third base and I can't play second base. So for me, it's just, I don't know, I'm a catcher. I played outfield, I can play first base, but ultimately, like, it was hitting that, like, got me recruited. So I like that answer. It was a really good answer. Leading into our next question, I wanted to touch base on hitting because obviously you're a hitter. You're a great hitter. You're fantastic. So hitting is like a game in itself, and it can be very challenging. So what do you do as a hitter to stay confident in your swing and keep your mind positive, even if nothing seems to be going your way?
Yeah, I get in my head a lot, but I would say sticking to a routine. I think I'm one who's very superstitious, as you may know, my lucky sports bra. But I would just say like making myself comfortable in uncomfortable situations. And just like trusting my preparation and knowing that I've put in the hours and things might not be going my way, but they will eventually. Uh, I had some advice given to me in high school. It has a swear word in it, so I'm not going to say the full thing. I'll say a different word. But it's he always like I was in a slump, and it was one of my friend's dads, and he came up to me and was like, you know what, like you didn't become a crappy hitter overnight. And I was like, you know what, you're right. Like I was a great hitter yesterday. I might suck today, but like I am still that great hitter somewhere. It'll come back. And I just rely on that, knowing that I've put in all the hours and like it'll come back eventually. And I think seeing, like, knowing that, like, you're going to see a good pitch eventually, just following off and trusting your swing helps a lot.
Another question about slumps. So sometimes like you get in a slump and you're not getting base hits, but you're hitting the ball hard, but it's still like you don't feel like you're getting out of it. Like what would be your advice in that sense? Like how do you
Yeah.
tell people that it's okay, like you're hitting the ball hard? Like how would you tell hitters that like you can't always be perfect?
Yeah. I would say, like, remind them that you're playing a game of failure. Like, you look at major leaguers, and if you're 1 for 3, you're in the Hall of Fame. Like, you have to just know that if you keep squaring the ball up, they're eventually going to drop, or they're eventually going to go over the fence, or like something is going to happen. It's going to break your slump, but you just have to keep reminding yourself that like you're playing a game of failure, that you're not going to be the person that's going to bat 600 every single game. You're going to have ups and downs. It's not, I like math. It's not a increasing slope all the time.
Mhm. Yeah, I like that. I always tell myself, just keep hitting. It'll come. Just keep hitting.
Yep.
And finally, piggybacking off of everything we just talked about, what are some tips that you have for hitters when they get into what can feel like a slump?
Yeah, I would say just rely on your routines. Make yourself comfortable. Go back to what like feels normal. Um, and I would say like go take extra reps. Like I live in the hitting building during season if something isn't going my way. Just go back to tee work, go back to front toss, like go do what makes you feel good, and it will turn over in a game. And rely on your teammates who are similar hitters as you. I know we hit back to back, but we're very different in aspects of I look at grips and I look at pitch sequences and like rely on my at bat previous, be like, okay, they pitched me this way, it's probably going to be very similar. Knowing that, like trusting your teammates to tell you like, hey, this is what I got, and knowing like, okay, I can't go up to you and say, okay, this is what I saw with her grip. Like, you don't need that. I just need to go up to you and be like, I got all outside. You're probably going to get inside. Like, just trust your teammates to know like they have your back and they're going to let you know what they got too.
Awesome. Well, that's all I have for you today, Abby. Thank you so much for taking time to come join us on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Best of luck in your future season.
Thank you. You too.